Hi there, it's Sam from poodles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one, and it's got a beautiful star-shaped top. How lovely is that? And it's a hexagon box. It's got 6 sides, it's gorgeous, it's got Daisy Delight, it's got Delightful Daisy, and it closes up and down like that. And there's a bow that pulls it all shut. It's sort of stitched closed. I've made a similar box to this in the past, and I've had it closed in like this, and I just think it's really lovely. So I'm going to show you how to make it. Okay, let me move that out of the way. You need a piece of paper that measures 8 by 11 inches, which is 28 by 20 centimetres. Now there's going to be a lot of measurements. Please don't worry about writing anything down. If you click open the description bar, down here you will see a link directly to this project, and that will take you over to my blog, and you can watch the video with the measurements underneath. So, and I would always say practice first, practice on some scrap paper first to see that you're happy with the size, the shape, and you getting all your marks in the right place. But here goes. Okay, I'm going to read out the measurements anyway. So score it on the long side at 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/4, 7, 8 3/4, and 10 1/2 inches. And in metric, 4 1/2, 9, 13 1/2, 18, 22 1/2, 27. And then we need to make little marks just at the top at 7/8 of an inch, 2 5/8, 4 3/8, 6 1/8, 7 7/8, and 9 5/8 of an inch. And in metric, that's going to be 2 1/4, 6 3/4, 11 1/4, 15 3/4, 20 1/4, and 24 3/4. You see why I'm saying don't write this down. Okay, turn it so that these little marks are to the right hand side, and on the short side score it at 2 1/4 and at 6 inches, which in metric is 5 1/2 and 15. Okay, right. Grab your steel ruler, which I know is on the opposite side of the room. So I'm just going to get it. I was going to get it, but it's gone. It's here. This is what happens when you prep and then you wander off with your ruler. So steel ruler, and we're going to score from that mark down to there and to there to create a triangle shape. So and you just do this all the way along, and it's worth it for a beautiful box that looks gorgeous and luscious. The first time I made this, I made it shorter and fatter, and we had this gorgeous paper that had bumblebees on it, and so I made it look like a beehive. You know, why not? And I will show you that you can have these, you can have the top of the box. Let me just bring it back in again so you've something to look at while I'm doing this. And it's just gorgeous, but you could have it so that the top opened out the other way, and I'll show you how to do that. But it's the same score lines and measurements. I'll just keep coming along. And then last ones. There we go. Right, I'm putting my ruler back in my pencil pot right now. Okay, so we're going to put some designer series paper on. Definitely easier to do that before you get going on anything else. And these panels measure, how much do they measure? They measure 3 1/2 by 1 1/2 inches, which in metric is 5 1/2 by 15 centimetres. And I have cut them and stacked them in a particular way. If I push them all together, you can see that actually my pattern matches up. So basically you cut your piece at 3 1/2 inches, and then you chop down, oh no, I'm sorry, it's 4 by 9 centimetres. And then you slide them along, and the pattern continues. So let me see if I can do this without messing up. I can't see the score lines very well. The lighting is confused, to say the least. almost need to put my shadow across it a little bit. Obviously this would be slightly simpler to do if you didn't have, if it was a repeating pattern that you had, but it's worth it. And actually this is the same pattern I had in my first one, but I did that over Night of Navy, which is nigh on impossible to get to show up any score lines on camera. So I thought, well, I'll bring Pool Party in because that's the lovely, the leafy part there. So same box, different paper, same box, same paper, different colour. There we go, that's my final one. So my pattern continues, but it's obviously been separated slightly. Right, let's get folding and burnishing. So don't worry about the diagonal lines just yet. Do your straight lines first. Okay, so that's all done. So that's obviously the top. So the bottom is where we need to be trimming. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit off the top. And then down here at the bottom, get rid of that little skinny rectangular part. Don't need that. And then cut straight up these ones, because this is what's going to become the base. That one as well. Okay, now you will see we've got a vertical line and two diagonal lines. The vertical line actually needs to go in on all of these. So when you bend it with your fingers, do it and burnish it before you start sticking your box together. So it's the vertical line that's going in. If you wanted it to go the other way, you push that out, and then your box top would face out in the other direction. But we want it in, so by doing this now before you put it together, it will make life so much easier. This last one, always slightly problematic. There we go. So all of that can go together now. We can glue it all down. So fast fuse, tear and tape, whatever you want to use. Run it down there. And obviously because it's equal sided, you can lay it down flat very easily. And when I put all of my parts in, oh look, I didn't fold that one. Oops, what I forgot to fold. Herein lies the reason why it's easier to fold before you close. Doesn't want to play, does it? Oh, it's because I've glued it. I'll have to sort that out when it comes together. But it will all go in like this. And that one doesn't want to at all, does it? There we go. I've got it now. So all goes in. All of these straight lines go in. And it comes together like that. But obviously the base is still open, so we need to get liquid glue on this. Work out where your back is, and I've lost the back. There we go. So that's going to go in last, and I find that liquid glue just makes life so much easier. Because I can move it all around. I've got wibble room. That's such a technical term. As you can see, my hexagon is going off in all sorts of directions. And when I'm happy with it, she says, there we go. Turn it over. Grab your long ruler. And just push it down, and that's going to make all that glue stick in place. And I'm just going to leave that for a second and come back to it in a minute. I want that glue to dry, because if I try and manipulate it now, it's just going to get messy. And I'm going to do my stamping. So I've got Daisy Delight, obviously, because we've got Daisy in here. Grab a big block, and I don't know what a pool party daisy will look like. Let's have a look. We'll do it together, discover together. I think I've done daisies in every other colour, but there we go. Matching punch over here. And just get it all lined up. And you can just gently curl the petals over. Now it's up to you if you have them out or in. I like to have mine down a bit, and it kind of gives it a little bit of dimension, really. Then I'm going to grab a mini glue dot onto there. That one over the top, and suddenly I've got a nice puffed up flower. Love it. Right, what do I need now? Faceted gems into the middle. Grab a dimensional for in there, and then we can start putting this together. Now, if you put holes in just two parts, it's going to go like that, and so you need to put your holes in all the places, in all of these sections here. So just come along, and you're putting them where the vertical line is. It's the wrong hole punch. I want them one that's bigger. There it is. Let's punch your holes all the way round. Empty your hole punch before use, because it won't punch through properly otherwise. Still doesn't want to punch through even though I've just emptied it. Maybe I need to sharpen it, quite possibly. Yeah, it's not punched on one side. How weird is that? Definitely need to sharpen it. Right, I've lost the front and back again. Why do I keep losing the front? There's my front. So I've got slightly different ribbon this time. I've got the Pool Party satin ribbon. And you just keep feeding it through, but over and under. So you're always coming from the outside in. Can you see how that's going outside and back in that way? And like I said before, it's sort of stitching really. And last few. This final one is going to end differently because it's going to come through where the other one already is. So we're going to have two ends coming out of the same hole. So you can see the over, under, over, under, over, under sort of thing. And as you slowly draw it together, and you will have to tug a little bit with your fingers to get it to move. but it will all pull nicely together. And keep going, it's worth it. And suddenly it comes together beautifully. And cut off the end of that ribbon. That one doesn't want to come through. Am I pulling the wrong bit? Oh, I am. I've been pulling the wrong tail. And then just tie it in a glorious, gorgeous bow. One better than I could ever do. Particularly as that's just twanged open again. Me, bows, ribbon and a camera. Great, horrible, awful combination. Just doesn't work. See, look, I can't even keep hold of it. What's happened to that tail there? Oh dear. Right. Trim off the ends. And grab your flower and stick it on. And I'm not going to put any of the... Oh, I've just squished it. That's why it's not pulled together, because I've I didn't leave it to dry long enough. Look! Why is that not pulling together properly? Now I know why. That one dried perfectly, not that one. Leave it longer than I did. It's a slightly off centre. Slightly, yeah, not hexagonal. Well, it is in that it's got 6 sides, but just not perfect. You get the idea though, but do leave it to dry longer than I did. Oops. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. Hope to speak to you very soon. Bye.